Okay, now I'm sharing the PPT also of this chapter, chapter 9, New Empires and Kingdoms. Okay, so after the downfall of Mauryan Empire, the Satavahanas emerged as a strong and political power in the Deccan and the south. Yes, Mridul, just give me thumbs up. I'm audible clearly. Dia, okay. Yes, after the downfall of the Mauryan Empire, the Satavahanas, they proved very powerful and strong power in the Deccan, while the Kushanas established themselves in the northern part of India. The decline of these two kingdoms by mid-18th century witnessed the emergence of a powerful dynasty. So, with the downfall of these two industries, there was the emergence of new power. That was the Gupta rule, lasted for more than 2000 years. And students, you know, Gupta period is also called as the golden period of Indian history because this was the only power where the people were very prosperous, happy, and it is very famous in the Indian history. Now the areas where this Gupta spread their powers, it started till the west, which was present day Afghanistan, Pakistan. Earlier it was part of India only. So purple shaded, students, you can see on the screen, this purple shaded area is the empire by the Gupta kings. Okay, Gupta Empire. All this purple shaded area is the area by Gupta kings. Malwas, Ujjain, presently we can say that present day Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, some part of Maharashtra, complete northern part, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, some part of eastern India presently were under these Gupta kings. Clear, students? Now, the Gupta period started from AD 320 till 540. Is referred as the golden age of Indian history. I already said that Gupta period was called as the golden period of Indian history. This is because of the rapid development that took place in the field of art, architecture, literature, philosophy, trade, science and agriculture. So during this period, at that time, also this architecture, science, philosophy, everything developed. And because of this reason only, it was called as the golden period. Now the sources. Sources means how do we get information about this period, what things developed, that the archaeological sources of the Gupta include the rock cut temples of Ajanta and brick temples in Deoghar, Kanpur, and Jhansi. The city remains found in Patliputra and the Prayag Prasasti. Inscriptions at Allahabad give us an insight into the reign of Samudragupta. Students, Prayag Prasasti. Prasasti means a inspirational note. Earlier, when the kings used to achieve something, they used to win a battle, then it was inscribed on rocks or walls. So that was inspiration that about his peculiarities was inscribed on the rocks or pillars. That was called as prasastis. Means good things about the king. That is called in Hindi. This is a Sanskrit word, prasasti, prasansha, appreciation letter. Here, when the king did something good, it was inspired on the rocks. That was called as prasastis. So, these all places give information. Prasastis also give resources to know more and more about this Gupta Empire. Now, the inscriptions is of special kind known as prasasti, a Sanskrit meaning in praise of, is appreciating, while prasastis were composed of the rulers such as Gautami Putra, Sri Satkarni. They became more important from time to of the Guptas. The coins of that period, made of gold and silver, indicate the prosperity of the Gupta period. Yes, students, as now we are having the currencies. No, at that time there where the currency was in the form of coins. So how it could know that this empire was prosperous or not? That was known from the currencies which were made. Clear, students? Means the coins were made of gold and silver. So it shows that this kingdom was very rich and prosperous, because if gold and silver coins could be made in the prosperous kingdom only, other kings had copper coins also. But this Gupta king, they had gold and silver. It shows that Gupta empire was very rich. Images of goddess and Samudragupta playing the veena help us to record the religious beliefs and hobbies of the ruler. Yes, and what they were getting inscribed. They were getting inscribed on the coins of the ruler which was ruling. So by that coin also we could know that in this year this ruler has ruled over. So Samudragupta was also a Gupta ruler. He got engraved his picture on coins playing veena. Veena is an instrument like we can say guitar. Okay, ancient time they were playing veena. So his picture is inscribed on that coin playing veena. That shows he was very rich and he was fond of playing the veena. Now, there was a spurt in Sanskrit literature. The famous poet Kalidas worked as a Raghuvamsha, Meghdutta and Abhignam Shakuntalam. These are the famous works of this Kalidas. And Kalidas was also at the time of this Gupta Empire. The Panchtantra, you all know, you might be reading the stories of Panchtantra, a collection of fables also belong to this age. Yes. So this Panchatantra was also written during this Gupta Empire, students, which we are reading today also. Accounts of foreign travelers like Payan also provide us with rich information of the Gupta period. Yes, you might have heard this Chinese traveler name in earlier chapters also. So he also came to India during this Gupta Empire. And he has written many accounts about visiting India during the Gupta period. Now students will go through dynasty wise which ruler ruled at which time. The first, Chandragupta I, who ascended the throne around 320 AD, is considered the most important ruler of the Gupta dynasty. Clear? So Gupta dynasty was first ruled by this Chandragupta I in 320 AD, students. You can underline this in your book. Now he married to Lichavi princess to strengthen his position. Yes. And what earlier the kings were doing? To capture the nearby areas of their kingdom, they were getting married to the princess of other rulers. So that as a dowry, they were getting that area. So this Chandragupta I married to Lichavi princess and he got the nearby area also. Chandragupta I adopted the title of Maharaja Dhiraj. Maharaja Dhiraj means completely the supermost ruler. That title was adopted by this Chandragupta I. So Chandragupta I was the first ruler of this Gupta dynasty. Underline, he adopted the title of Maharaj Dhiraj. Next, the ruler was our Samudragupta. Chandragupta I was succeeded by his son Samudragupta, and he is regarded as one of the most powerful rulers of ancient India. Yes, Samudragupta was the son of Chandragupta I. Clear, students? And he is regarded as one of the most powerful rulers of ancient India. We know that Samudragupta from the pillar inscriptions at Allahabad by his poet Harisena. So Harisena was a poet at the time of Samudragupta and he has written Prasasti, as we have earlier studied this about that Prasasti is written for the praise of that ruler. So this Prasasti about Samudragupta was written by his poet Harisena at Allahabad. The pillar inscriptions describe the conquest and glory of Samudragupta. And what is written on this Prasastri? About the wars, battles which he has won and how he has won. Everything is inscribed on this Prasasti. By the end of his reign, his empire included almost the whole of northern India, except West Punjab, Kashmir, Sindh completely. As we have gone through that map also, students, several tributary kingdoms surrounded these directly administered areas. His sovereignty was accepted by the rulers of South India. Sovereignty means his, they accepted him as the ruler till southern part of India also. That he is very powerful. He was also a great patron of art, music, as one of his coins is showing playing veena. Yes, he was fond of this art and thing. So one of his picture in the coin is showing that he was fond of playing veena also. Now, whose body was most charming, being covered with the plenteous beauty of marks of hundreds of scars caused by the battle axes, arrows, spikes, spears, barbed darts, swords, iron clubs, javelins, barbed arrows, long arrows, and many other weapons. This tells all these things, students, what this is explaining. He has got so many scars on his body. So Samudragupta was a warrior. Clear, students? These things, this says that he was a big, great warrior, students. So this was about the Samudragupta. Clear, students? Samudragupta was the son of Chandragupta I. Now we come to the second ruler, Chandragupta II. He was the son of Chandragupta uh, Samudragupta. Clear? Chandragupta II was the son of Samudragupta. Students, you have to remember, Chandragupta one son was Samudragupta and Samudragupta's son is Chandragupta II. And he also assumed the title of Vikramaditya. You all know about Vikramaditya? Vikramaditya was the king of Ujjain and he was sitting on Mayurasan. Yes, there is a story about Vikram and Vetal of this Vikramaditya only. So he assumed the same title of Vikramaditya. Clear, students? He strengthened and consolidated the empire and included Malwa. So he extended till Gujarat, some parts of Madhya Pradesh also. His kingdom that were Malwa, that is Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Kathiawad, means presently we can say that area of Kutch. The conquest of these areas gave him the control of western sea coast, which is located and which boosted the trade and commerce. Yes, he extended till the western coast of India. So this increased his business, trade and commerce. Clear, students? This increases business and trade. Now, the next and the last ruler of this Gupta dynasty. So, which king this Chandragupta II son gained much power and glory. His son was that last ruler of this Gupta empire was Skandagupta, was the last great king of Gupta dynasty, who ruled from AD 455 to AD 468 AD. After his death, the power of the imperial Gupta's empire declined considerably and finally they ended in the middle of the 6th century AD. So the Skandagupta was the last ruler of Gupta empire and after this glorious power of Gupta dynasty came to an end. Yes, students? So who was the last ruler? Skandagupta. Now, then the Harshvardhan. After the decline of this, Harshvardhan came on the power, students. Harshvardhan, after the decline of the Gupta Empire, North India brought down into several kingdoms because after Guptas there was no successful powerful ruler who could rule over the northern part of India. So several other small rulers came up. One of the kingdoms that emerged was Vardhamana dynasty. And one of the most powerful king of this dynasty was Harshvardhana at Thaneshwar. He made Kannauj the seat of his power. Kannauj was made as the capital. So after this Gupta dynasty, there came as Vardhana dynasty. And among this Vardhana dynasty students, Harshvardhan was the most powerful ruler and he made Kannauj as his capital. Harshvardhana was a great patron of art and wrote three plays in Sanskrit, that is Ratnavali, Priyanshika and Nagananda. Clear students? Now, the administration of Harsha was similar to that of the Guptas. In ruling the people, he was similar to the Gupta kings. And he also divided into provinces. His kingdom was divided into provinces. Provinces, students, as presently we are having the districts now. Same way earlier it was called as provinces. Ruled by the officers called Bhuktis. The rulers who were ruling over these provinces were called as Bhuktis. Students, you can underline this word Bhuktis also. The priests were given land grants. The officers were also given land grants instead of the cash salary. Yes. These rulers were given land grants instead of the cash salaries. And the Brahmins, priests who were doing the religious work of the Hindus, they were called as priests and they were also given the land grants as the donations. Now, Harsha was a follower of Shiva in his early years. Later on, he embraced Buddhism. So, by birth, Harsha was Hindu. But later on, and he was worshipping Lord Shiva. But later on, he embraced Buddhism religion. However, he was tolerant towards all the prevailed religions. And he has equal importance. It was not that he embraced Buddhism, so he did not give any respect to other religions. No. He gave equal importance to all the religions. He called two great assemblies to discuss Buddhism. Yes, he called assemblies means he had a meeting for to spread more and more about the Buddhism religion. During his rule, the Nalanda University came up as an important center of learning. Yes, and during that time, the Nalanda University was founded, and this university was famous all over the world at the time. People from different parts of the world were coming to study in this university to know more and more about this religion of Buddhism. And he also started many these councils, also assemblies, to spread more and more about the Buddhism. Now, how do we get this information about this? There are the sources. We know of Harshvardhana's rule from coins and inscriptions of that period. Literary sources like Ban Bhatta's Harsh Charitra, a biography of Harsha, and accounts of Wen Sang give us a valuable information on Harsha's rule. So how do we get? It was that Samudragupta got his coins inscribed. Same way, Harshvardhana also got his coins inscribed. And the Banbhatta, the poet who Banbhatta was during this Harshvardhana. And he has written a biography about this Harshvardhana that is known as Harsh-Charitra. So we are getting this information for this Harshvardhana from this biography also, students. So these are the areas, students. You can go through this yellow portion in the map. This yellow covered area, students, can you see the arrow? It was controlled by this Harshvardhana. Clear? Less power than this Gupta, but complete central part of India was controlled by this Harshvardhana. Some part of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and complete central part of India was controlled by this Harshvardhana. Now, we will move towards the next part, that is at the same time, Which kings ruled over India in the southern part of India? Yes, students, the kingdoms of South at the time. The two most important kingdoms of South India during this period were Chalukyas and Pallavas. So at that time, as in the northern part, Harshvardhana was ruling. At the same time, in the southern part, there were the ruler of Chalukyas and Pallavas. So about the Chalukyas. The Chalukyas empire extended from south of India till the river Krishna. Its capital is Vatapi. So Chalukya ruler's capital was Vatapi. Clear students, Chalukya's capital was Vatapi. Pulkesin II was the most important king of this Chalukya dynasty. Pulkesin II, students you can underline, Pulkesin II was the most important ruler of the Chalukya dynasty. We know that about him from Prasastris. Clear? So at that time Prasastis were also written in southern part also. Prasastis composed by Ravi Kirti. So who has composed the Prasasti about Chalukyas? Ravi Kirti, his court poet. So Ravi Kirti was the court poet of Chalukyas. And Pulkesin II was the most important king of this Chalukya dynasty. Pulkesin II defeated the king Harshvardhana Harsha in the north and Mahendravarman, the Pallava ruler in the south. So, this Pulkesin II has defeated the king Harsha in the north and Mahendravarman, the Pallava ruler in the southern. And this Pulkesin II extended his empire from Arabian Sea to the Bay of Bengal. Students, you can see on the screen. He has extended his kingdom from Bay of Bengal and to the Narmada river, to the Polar river. So, to the Arabian Sea to the Bay of Bengal and from Narmada river to the Palar river. The Chalukya's power was destroyed by Rashtrakutas of the Deccan. So, their powers of Chalukyas were destroyed by the Rashtrakutas. Students, clear? Now, so this was about the Chalukyas. We move towards the next part, next ruler that were Pallavas. The Pallavas ruled far south. Clear, students? The Pallavas ruled for far south from the 6th to 8th century AD. Clear, students? So they ruled from 6th to 8th century AD. And one of the greatest ruler was Mahendravarman first. And the Pallava capital was Kanchi or Kanjivaram, an important center of Sanskrit learning. At that time, this Kanchi. So the capital of the Pallava was Kanchi, and Kanchi was the important center of learning at the time in the 6th to 8th century. Clear, students? And who was the greatest ruler of this Pallava? Mahendravarman I. And his capital was Kanchi. Kanchi or Kanjivaram was an important center of Sanskrit learning. The Pallavas were engaged in many battles with the Pandyas and Chalukyas, and these Pallavas were also having the constant war with the Pandyas and Chalukyas. Narasimhavarman I succeeded his father Mahendravarman first. And who succeeded this Mahendravarman? Narasimhavarman I. He was the son of Mahendravarman. After his death, the Pallava rule declined due to frequent wars and weak successors. So after this Mahendravarman, there was no powerful ruler who could control the Pallava empire. So it was declined because of frequent wars and weakness of weapons. The capital of Pallavas, Kanchi, was an important center of learning for Sanskrit and Tamil. And Kanchi was the main center for learning Sanskrit and Tamil. Dear students, so this was about the Pallavas. Pallavas, Mahendravarman once was the first ruler and Kanchi was the capital of Pallavas. Now, the art and architecture developed during this period. The kingdoms of South were famous for their temple architects, rock cut temples. Clear, students? So, the kingdoms of South were famous for temple architects. The rock cut temples were built in South India during the reign of Pallava ruler Mahendravarman I. So, this was about the art and architecture, students. Now, the Rath temple and the Sri temple at Mahabalipuram and the Kailashnath temple at Kanchipuram are the major contributions. So about the art and architecture, Rath temples. The temples were in the form of Rath. You all know Rath. And Shore temple at Mahabalipuram and the Kailash temple at Kanchipuram were the famous of these kings. Now the administration of southern kingdoms. How were the southern kingdoms administered? Dear students, the southern kings were administered. The village remained the basic unit of administration. Clear, students? The village remained the basic unit of administration and land revenue remained the same source of revenue. Revenue means tax, as we are present paying taxes. Earlier also, the taxes were collected. Yes, students? And that tax were called as the revenue, land revenue. So, village were the main center for the administration and tax collection. Kings adopted several strategies to win over the powerful people, and he had many strategies to win over the people. Important administrative posts were made hereditary. Hereditary means after, it means that if a king is ruling, then after his death, his son will only come to the post. That is called heredity. Clear, students? Now, the poet Harisena was Dandanayak or chief judicial officicer like his father at that time. Now, one person could hold several offices. Like example, Harisena was also Kumar Amatya, a minister, and a Sandhi Vigrahika, minister of war and peace. So it was that one person who is capable of controlling many things can be given many posts also. It was not that one person was adopting only one post. No. So Harisena was given many posts at the time also. Now, the important men like Nagara Shrestri, a chief banker or merchant of the city. The Sarthava, the leader of caravans. The Prathama Kulika, the chief craftsman, and the head of the kayasthas or scribes had a say in the local administration. Gradually, those powerful men set up their own independent kingdoms. Clear, students? So they set up their independent kingdoms also. And these were the posts which were enjoyed during these rulers in the southern kingdom, students. Now, and they had a good type of army also. A new kind of army. Some of these kings maintained a well-organized army with elephants, chariots, cavalry, and foot soldiers. Military leaders like Samantas provided the king with the troops whenever he needed them. So who was this? Samantas were the military leaders, and he was provided the king with the troops. Whenever king was needed any troops or armies, this Samanta was providing them. These leaders received grants of land rather than the regular salaries. As students, you have seen in the Gupta kingdom, salaries were not paid, but they were given the land grants. Means land was given as a gift. So same thing was followed in the southern part also. These leaders were not provided the salaries, but they were given grants of land. Revenue collected from the land was used to maintain soldiers and horses and to provide equipment for warfare. Yes, the revenue collection, the taxes which was collected was used as a money for providing soldiers, horses and equipment for the warfare. So army was always kept ready and large amount of money was spent on this only. Samantas established their independent kingdoms whenever the opportunity arose. Yes. And these Samantas, you know who were Samantas? The military leaders. They established their independent kingdoms when the opportunity, when there was a, got the chance, they started their independent kingdoms. So this was a new kind of army during the southern people, southern rulers. Now, assemblies in the southern kingdom. The two main local assemblies were Sabha and the Ur. Clear students, which were the two main assemblies? Sabha and Ur. Sabha was an assembly of landowners and functioned mainly through the subcommittees which looked after irrigation, agriculture, operations, making roads, local temples, etc. The Sabha was an assembly of landowners and functioned through subcommittees for taking care of agriculture department, irrigation, making of roads, temples, etc. And Ur was a village assembly in area of non-Brahmin landowners. So it was non-Brahmin landowners were there. The Nagaram was an organization of merchants who was taking care of business department and he was called as Nagaram. So see, Sabha was an assembly landowner and at the time Brahmins were having much land. Same way, the Urs was an assembly areas of non-Brahmin where Brahmins were not there. And Nagaram was the organization of merchants. Clear, students? So this was about the assemblies in the southern kingdom. Now, what type of life the ordinary people led? This was about the kings, their military leaders, and other leaders who were guiding the king. But ordinary life of the people, yes, about the life of ordinary people, form plays other accounts. The Kalidasa, the Kalidasa known for his play Abhignam Sakuntlam depicted the life in the king's court. Yes, you all know about the Kalidasa. He's a Sanskrit poet. You might have been studying Sanskrit poems of Kalidasa in your class. Interestingly, in all the plays of the period, rulers and the Brahmins spoke in Sanskrit while non-Brahmins women used Prakrit. So Brahmins used Sanskrit word at the time and the non-Brahmins they used Prakrit language. The Chinese pilgrim Fayan wrote about the plight of untouchables. Yes, at that time also untouchability was there. And you all know that Fayan came to India, a Chinese traveler. So he wrote about this untouchability. According to him, they lived in the outskirts of the city and would strike a piece of wood if they entered the town so that people could avoid touching them or brushing against him. So at that time untouchability was there and they have to made to live outside of the city and they don't have to enter the cities and if they would enter the and if they entered the town so the people could avoid touching them or brushing against them. Yes, and the people used to allow aparting from that they should not touch these untouchables. Yes, well, so this was about the people. Yes, students. So here the chapter is finished.